104.5, the team, your home for New York Jets football. This Saturday, we're going to have Jets versus Dolphins. Our coverage starts at 7:25, kickoff 8:25. Joining us now, covers the Jets for NJ.com, Connor Hughes. Connor, man, letter grade for Bryce Petty. How would you grade his performance against San Francisco?
It's a good question. I mean, because you can look at him and you can make the argument that it should be a D or D minus. I mean, he didn't really make any tremendous or incredible plays. He missed some throws. He obviously threw the interception and he put the Jets in bad situations. But I think you got to give him somewhere a little bit better than that, maybe a C or a C minus. And the only reason I say that is because he gradually got better as that game went on. And when you have a quarterback like that, a guy who's young, a guy who's only making his second start, a guy who was drafted in the 4th round, not a top 5 pick, you know it's going to take some time for him to develop. It's take a year or two for him to be ready to play. And, for all intents and purposes, Bryce Petty's playing a little bit sooner than he should be playing. So, for what he did and the situation he's been put in, I thought he looked okay on Sunday.
Connor, for me, the most impressive part didn't happen during the game. It was when the seconds were ticking off. Muhammad Wilkerson comes running out to high-five Bryce Petty. I have not seen him high-five a quarterback before.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's really had any reason to high-five a quarterback in quite some time. So, look, I mean, the thing with Bryce Petty is that he's got everything you want in a quarterback outside of the mental aspect of the game. I mean, he's got a cannon for an arm, he's got accuracy, he's got mobility, and he has a tireless work ethic and that, personality that guys love. I mean, everybody in that locker room likes Bryce Petty. So when he has success, everybody wants to see him have success for those reasons. It's just the big question with him has always been, again, the mental part of the game is, can he play from under center? Can he read a defense? Can he, on a snap decide where the ball is supposed to go without taking too long to do it? And once he's able to do that, there's no doubt he's going to be able to play in the NFL. The big question, though, is if he'll ever be able to do that.
104.5, the team, your home for Jets football. Talking to Connor Hughes, who covers the Jets for NJ.com.
Connor, is this week's matchup against the Miami Dolphins a better evaluation week for Bryce Petty because the Dolphins' defense is much better than the San Francisco 49er defense?
In a way, yeah, because you said it. I mean, the 49ers defense, I think, is literally like the worst in the NFL. I mean, I know they were averaging, at least going into last week's game, they were averaging like the most yards allowed and the most rushing yards allowed and then the most points. Like they were averaging like 30.3 points per game. So, I mean, their defense was awful. So for Bryce Petty, I mean, it was a great start because, he kind of got a chance to read some things against essentially a JV team. But this week against the Dolphins is going to be another big measuring stick because you're going to see how he can do against not a really cruddy team, but a team that can actually play. And I don't think he has to go out there and throw for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, but he just needs to kind of do what he did against San Francisco, and that's make some mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and get better as the game goes on. He doesn't have to light it up. He just needs to get better from where he was in the first quarter to when he leaves the field in the fourth. Is just gradually improve his play, make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and he did that against San Francisco, and if he does that against Miami, it'll be a good thing.
Is there enough time, Connor, for Bryce Petty to earn at least a legitimate shot at next year's starting job?
I think he can earn a chance to put his name in the mix. I don't think there's not enough time for him to earn it as the unquestioned, he's going to be our starter without any competition. But he can definitely do enough to be a legitimate contender to be the Jets starter. I mean, again, the best situation for the Jets right now is Bryce Petty's going to have 5 starts this season, barring injury going into next year. I mean, that you could get an idea that this guy can't play. I don't know if you can get an idea that he can play. He can do some things where you can say, oh, wow, this guy just can't do it. But I don't know if there's enough there to say, yeah, he's going to be our unquestioned guy. So you'll have to see. You'll have to wait. I mean, maybe if he goes 4-0 and beats the Patriots and beats the Bills and beats the Dolphins this weekend, you can have that confidence. But personally, I don't think so. I think your best bet with Petty is going to be that he just shows that he got better and instill some confidence that he could potentially be the guy going into next year.
And let's flip to the other side of the football, the New York Jets defense. They get a backup quarterback in the Miami Dolphins in Matt Moore. Can this defense still give Matt Moore fits and really be the biggest factor in the game?
Who knows? I mean, this Jets defense is a giant question mark. I mean, seriously, because talent-wise, it's there. I mean, they've got talent on that field when you talk about Sheldon and Mo and Leonard and Lorenzo Malden to an extent, and Darren Lee and Calvin Pryor, and I know Rivas has been awful, but even Darrell Rivas and Screen. I mean, they've got talented players on this defense. I mean, they were a top 5 defense last year with essentially the same exact players. I mean, you look at this team, and the only thing that they are missing is at middle linebacker Demario Davis. You can make the argument Darren Lee's a better player. Damon Harrison, and then obviously Antonio Cromartie. That's the only players that are missing from last year's defense that was a top 5 defense to this year's defense, which has been just dreadful. I mean, the big thing with the Jets right now that you just don't know, and you're never going to know, is are they going to come out there and try? Because, at different points this year against the Indianapolis Colts, they didn't put forth an effort. In the first half against the 49ers, they didn't put forth an effort. So will they put forth an effort? I mean, it's a wait and see thing. If they do, there's no doubt. I mean, they can shut down Miami. But if they don't, who knows what the score will be? It won't matter if it's Matt Moore or Ryan Tannehill, because again, this is a team that they allowed Colin Kaepernick to tear him up in the first half, and Kaepernick is one of the worst passers in the NFL right now.
Jets Dolphins Saturday night right here on 104.5 The Team. Our coverage starts at 7:25. Talking to Connor Hughes, NJ.com right now. When you talk about a defense that doesn't get up, and you've got a head coach who's a defensive guru, is that an indictment on Todd Bowles? Is Todd Bowles looking for a job when the season's over?
It's an indictment on him, yeah. I mean, that falls on the head coach when you can't get your guys motivated and you have guys quitting. I mean, that is entirely 100% on the head coach. But no, I don't think Todd is going to lose his job. I mean, I think when the Jets were able to beat the 49ers last week, that solidified Todd Bowles' job status heading into next year. I mean, they can lose these next 3 games. As long as they don't get embarrassed and blown out by 40 points in each, I think Bowles will be back. If they had lost to the 49ers and if they had played an entire game like they played the first half and lost to San Francisco 28-6 or 21-9 or just got blown out, yeah, I think there's a good chance Todd could be looking for new work. But after they beat him, even with how the team's played this year, I think he's going to be back because, Woody Johnson does have a tendency to make some rash decisions and jump as a gun a bit on some things. But he's smart enough to know that you can't just keep changing a coach every 2 years. You just can't do it. I mean, you just fired Rex. You can't fire Todd because, truth be told, I mean, what coach is going to want to replace Todd Bowles? Because this is a Jets team now with an aging roster, cap constraints, and an owner that just fired a coach after 2 years. I mean, that's not a golden situation to be walking into. And with some of these other opportunities that could potentially be open around the NFL, the Jets aren't going to be very high on the list of positions coaches would want.
Connor, we'll let you go on this. It is a Football Friday here on 104.5 The Team. When we're talking football with a guest, they got to offer up a prediction for us. Give us a score. What happens Saturday night between the Dolphins and the Jets?
I think the Dolphins are probably. You know what? No, I actually think we actually ran our picks today in the paper. But I think the Jets are going to win this one. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, conventional wisdom would tell you that they're not going to. But I think at home, in a primetime game, coming off that win with the defense kind of getting some of their momentum back and playing Matt Moore, I think they'll win. I don't think it's going to be pretty. I think you're looking at like a 20-16, maybe a 23-13 game, something like that. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be a blowout. There are going to be times where the Jets look really bad, but I think at the end of the day they'll pull out the win and beat Miami. And I haven't picked the Jets much this year. I think I've picked them only 2 or 3 times, but this is a game where I think they're probably going to win.
Connor Hughes, you can read his stuff online, NJ.com. Great Jets insight. We appreciate your time, my brother. Stay warm out there.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me.